DC corrected.
Yeah.
Miles aren't as good as you'd like.
It's not necessarily about the miles, okay, as it is the quality of them.
So length of haul or live
Yes.
loads, things like that.
Yes. Before we go any further, I do want to say, there's some things here I don't like that you guys never hear about. Okay? And there's some things here that I love that you never hear about. Okay? My first year was great. 2 weeks before the bottom dropped out, I was telling the wife, this is the happiest I've been in years.
Okay.
And then when that got pulled on me, just went downhill. Okay, don't get me wrong now. I know there's going to be good weeks. I know there's going to be bad weeks. I also know there's going to be bad loads. I know there's going to be good loads. But this constant, I mean, I'm not even being thrown a bone anymore.
Okay.
Hardly.
And what's a bone?
700 miles.
Stretch your legs.
Yeah, get out and stretch my legs some. Open it up.
Okay.
About the only time I see that Laredo load, that was a fluke.
Mm-hmm. It was. He was supposed to go on the rail, and it ended up
Oh,
flipping the OTR.
Donaldson.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. About the only time I'm seeing a decent load anymore is to get me home.
Georgia, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. U-line, probably, from time
Yeah.
to time.
That's about it.
So those are about the only, what you would consider quality loads, drop and hook, 700 plus miles.
I'm not necessarily looking for dropping hooks.
Sure.
Should be live or unload.
Sure.
Before I was coming out of the house, I was getting 750 right off the bat. I was getting in the loop, the whole 9 yards. I get a couple of short loads, no biggie. I was being set up for a good load, or a decent load,
Sure.
And I think the shortest weekend load I had back then was 750 miles,
You got to
And generally speaking, they were closer to 1,000,
Sure.
It just eats up hours. I just want to know why I can't get decent loads on a consistent basis. I hear this freight's slow. Okay. Well, it was slow the months before that, and the months before that. That's about as old as trucking is.
Yeah.
As an excuse. You know that as well as I do.
Yeah.
You guys have heard it.
Yeah.
Since and if it's that bad, or was it during the good times?
Yeah.
and-
freight's not
And
necessarily
then,
slow, so to speak. There's pockets where we're short.
I just don't understand it. That's all I'm looking for.
Yeah,
Honest
yeah.
answers.
Well, So what I do, I'm over a drive.
I don't like sending those notes. I hate it.
We don't like when you send them. We don't want you to send them. Our goal would be to get you back to where you were when you were thinking, where you were saying this was the happiest you've been. That's what
Yeah.
we want to do. We know you can crush miles. What we have to find is some commonality, some ground to where you feel fulfilled. You trust Teresa, myself, the group, that we are doing as much as we can to put miles on your truck. Because if you don't trust her, if you don't trust us, it's going to make your job a living hell out there. You have to trust us. Just like we have to trust you that you're going to execute, pick up, drop on time, and do all that you do out there. We have to have each other in this
Yeah.
relationship. From the load volume standpoint, the freight out there, it actually has been increasing week over week the past several weeks. It's getting better. The length of haul piece, now overall, I won't say it's week over week, month over month now has gotten a lot worse, but length of hauls, unfortunately, what we're finding in our industry are shrinking because DCs are centralizing and moving, and it's not to say there's not long haul freight out there. We do haul stuff to Laredo every day. We haul stuff to Laredo every day. It's not the quantity that we want, or certainly our drivers would like, because you and 1,500 other drivers want that 1,500 miler down to Laredo. We do haul it there every day. It's just, it's not a huge quantity to where drivers would see it on a regular basis.
You know, it's just, I'm not saying on a regular basis down Laredo.
Just every once in a while,
just-
you want to see something.
I need to see something, you know. Here's the thing about it. I'm old school, okay?
We know that.
Okay. And, you know, I've got to be able to open it up. You know, feel like a real driver and not a regional type driver or a local driver, which is what it is. It
Yep.
seems like. And
And again, Teresa wants you to. And I'm not going to make a huge deal of this. We were just recognizing Teresa this morning, the miles and the revenue she's put on her trucks here. Obviously, one of them over the past 2 weeks is better than any fleet leader in the company. We're recognizing her for that. She wants just as much as you to get you on that quality freight, to get you on that long freight, to make sure her drivers are kept happy. Because at the same point, as good as her metrics are, we will still beat her up over turnover or over driver satisfaction. And she'll beat herself up over that. She doesn't like losing drivers or having drivers angry. And that kind of brings me to the point of she wants to go to bat for her drivers. But if you don't trust her or if you disrespect her, do you think she's going to want to go to bat to you as hard as maybe
No.
she could?
you know,
So that-
I've asked, you know, I hate getting shitty. I hate it. You know, and, you know, I asked, begged, you know, I'll finally get a decent load. And it gets yanked on me.
You're
Cool.
talking about that recovery that we did up
Yeah.
in the Northeast?
Yeah.
It was a production load that was falling down, and it was a big deal. It was a really big deal. A lot of eyes on that load, and it's the pressure to make sure that we're servicing the customers. They were already looking to back up that load for you, but I think at that point you weren't hearing me, because all you saw was the load come off and a different one come on, and you just kind of shut down on me. And Brittany and I were working on the other end of that to make sure you got backed up with something immediately. Because she's like, again, he's getting cut.
And then what? I think we're talking about two different things here. But
Yeah, I mean, there are
there was one a couple of weeks ago. It's just a little 700 mile. Okay. But hey, get stretch a little bit.
stretch a little.
You know.
For a day at least, yeah.
And I'm the only driver around there. And I'm all but at the customer. And
I get it's frustrating,
and then
but it happens.
and then on top of it, I'm hot as it is. I told her I need to cool off for a little bit. You know, I parked it for an hour at a Quick Trip. You know.
Yeah, we don't want you to
And
if you're
then-
not.
And then later on that day, Mark throws a short one on me. So he just added fuel to the fire, and then that's when I really let it fly that night. You know.
I get it. It's frustrating. We obviously have to be careful with those Qualcomm messages because you're a good driver. We want to keep you out there. We want to keep you happy, but we have to watch what we're saying and how we're treating others. I know you're frustrated. We want pushback. Honestly, if you feel if we actually are, because I always tell this to every driver. I want you looking out for yourself. I truly do. I'm the company, right? I'm corporate. I know mostly what I mean to a lot of drivers out there, but we do want to take care of you guys. But there are times where we do have a load or something where you're in the right area. We have to move things around. But I still want you in a productive way to challenge Teresa, to challenge me, to make sure we make it right. You know, I want to make sure that we do back you up. If I ever hear,
And then that's another thing. I'm not even getting backed up on a lot of these shorter loads. You know.
and if that's true, that's something that's probably a takeaway we can work on. I mean, we do have, you know, a way we kind of go about planning, but we can certainly we want to make sure you're at least fulfilled through your next day. And if you do have a shorty, and to me, that's a 200-300 miler, you should be backed up.
And then that was another thing too. I was always backed up. Sure, I get one or two short loads, but it's going to get me someplace that got me at least a decent one. You know, I don't know how to explain
Yeah.
it. You know,
So well, tell me if I'm wrong, but it boils down to what you started with. You're not so much
and it's
having
not
an
that
issue with
it's,
the raw miles, it's the quality of them.
Yeah, it's the quality.
To
you know,
have that
And,
ability from time to time to stretch your legs.
Yeah, it's
Because your miles look,
and it's not necessarily about the money. You know. I'm able to get out there and I'm able to run for a day. The only thing I've got to worry about, maybe fuel, my 30-minute break, and where I'm going to shut it down.
Yeah.
Not 2 or 3 customers a day.
Yeah.
You know, if I could do that a couple times a week or maybe even once a week, plus a decent weekend load, you know, I'm
Okay.
happy. I'm just not seeing it. I'm sorry.
Okay.
You know, and I ran the numbers from this week. This is my actual driving miles. By the end of last night, I should have seen at least 2,000 miles. I was at 1,550 or something like that. That's
Okay.
low.
Yeah.
That's very low. For 4 days. Just,
Yeah. Do you have anything for tomorrow yet? We just have the Walmart today.
I just got that Walmart for
So that's
today.
about another 500 for today.
Yeah, roughly. So I don't
Okay.
know. I'm at my wit's end. I'm very close.
Well, like I said, my goal, I know Teresa's is too, to figure out how we make this work. I think if nothing else, what I want to walk away from right now is a commitment from both of us. Our commitment will be to look and see how we can get you to stretch your legs from time to time. See if there's any way we can figure out some sort of quality mix to get in a load where you can kind of just take the day
Yeah.
and run. The commitment I want from you is to halt verbal attacks. If you don't trust what Teresa is sending you, I don't want you attacking. Call me. If you don't have my number, Teresa can send it to you. If you don't believe that she is doing everything she can to get you quality miles and keep you moving, I don't want you attacking. You can challenge Teresa. She's got thick skin. If you want to challenge or help be productive with ideas, you know what kind of freight we have out there too. Like,
Yeah.
hey, Teresa, do we have this lane available tomorrow? You know, she'll welcome, I'm sure, that help, that productiveness about how do you together figure out a good way to keep you rolling. But if you ever get to that point where you're hot, heated, we cannot have you lashing out. Call me if that's what you need. And I mean, I know today we kind of are on a time crunch, but I suggested Teresa, and this can still be an option in the future, having you come up to corporate, and I'll have you sit with me, and I'll show you the planning screen. No hiding anything. I'll show you what we look at on a day-to-day basis. And overall, believe me when I say, when we go into bids with customers and try to win new freight, quality of freight is about all we think of when it comes to our drivers. You know, the rate of the load is important. We obviously need to make sure it makes money.
I know you've got to make a buck.
We always have drivers in our mind.
It's
Because there's less of you that run overnight. There's more of you that complain about live events. There's more of you that won't go to the Northeast. We do those things. We have freight that runs overnight. We have freight that goes to the Northeast. We have, but it's a shrinking demographic. We always have that driver in mind to try to get that long freight. Again, that's why we went in with Uline, and we all still consider it a home run. Uline actually is a very small segment of our overall business, tiny, less than 1%. But we treat it like a FedEx because it's such a driver satisfier. And honestly, the rate, it's okay,
Yeah.
but it's not amazing. But drivers absolutely love it, and it gets them home. So we treat it like a home run. I mean, if it fails, alarms are sounding. So that's the type of stuff. I'm giving you a long story.
Yeah.
But that's the stuff we do shoot for. It's not
I
always
try,
the easiest.
I try my best to be on time and everything else.
I've never
you
heard
know.
any issues. I don't know if
No.
there is, and but you
The planners know your code.
yeah, we know what you can do and what you're capable of, and like I said, Teresa.
That
wants
one
nothing more.
yesterday wanted me down in Memphis in 16 hours.
Oh well, that was an error. That was an error.
That was a quick sending stuff out, and then
We got
I
excited
looked
about an
over at
800-mile
Hannah
load, so.
and said, Hannah, you forgot to cut the relay.
See, we think you are super truckers, so we thought you could pull it off. Back in the day, you probably could.
I don't know why I was thinking. I was thinking it was the
I'll
Indy.
plead the fifth on
Yeah,
that.
back in the day, I'm sure you could have done that one.
Where's that other logbook at?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that was an obvious error. That's one that's always cut because it is team transit, unfortunately. But
And something I don't understand. If the railroads want that freight, why don't they build a side line to the customer? You know.
I know, I hear you, I do.
Yeah, I mean, 'cause it's taking away good jobs from us. I mean, forget about me. I mean, look at all those containers going down the rail
Tons.
every day.
Mhm. Well,
They
certainly,
could
I mean,
they could be working for Brand X. I don't care.
you know, I can't argue that, Steve, and I know Teresa being a former
Yeah.
driver too, I'm sure has some of the same opinions.
Yeah.
It's I guess we can call it a necessary evil. We do partner with them. They ship freight to the West Coast. You know, a lot of drivers won't even go there. So, but I hear you. I do. I wish we could run those Laredo loads, truckload all the time for Donaldson. But
I was told if we actually did it, that they wouldn't have enough freight to get everybody out.
to
Because we
Laredo.
have way more going inbound to Laredo than we do outbound.
Yeah. Yeah, and it can swing. A lot of it depends on what's going on at the border and what's going on in Mexico too. Because there's a time where everybody wants the Laredo trips, and I don't blame them. It's a great length haul, but there are times, not right now. If you go to Laredo, you'll get back out pretty quick. But there's been times where I've told drivers like, hey, if you go to Laredo, that's great, but you'll sit for 3 days because they'll move the teams out first. They'll move, So is it worth it? But it all depends on what's going on at the border, honestly. But right now it's robust, so we can go down there and get back out. But like I said, I
It doesn't necessarily have to be Laredo. You know,
100%. Yeah.
I don't care where it's from. I may not like the place, but hey,
This time of year, it's nice up here too, though.
Yeah.
Right? Actually, right now, it's probably worse being in Laredo than anything.
Yeah.
It's probably 110. But no, I think, I want to make the commitment along with Trace, and I don't speak for you. So if you want to add anything, feel free to. But I want to make the commitment
I'm gonna
to.
try my
Asking-
best.
Yeah, asking
I'm gonna
for
try-
the,
I'm gonna try
the
my
length
best.
of haul that you're looking for. I can tell you it's a very small percentage of what's actually being given to my solo OTR drivers. And more often than not, if it's more than 800 miles, I tell them hold your breath and get ready for it to get cut, because they may need you on something else because you're rolling right through the center where a lot of recovery stuff happens. And more often than not, I'd say about 50% of the time, they are getting a relay cut and recovering on something else that needs attention rather than that length of haul. So it's going to be a challenge for me to find a load that would be longer than 600 miles every week to promise that I can put it on you. And the way that I'm viewing it is that means I'm probably going to have to step over someone else's driver to make that satisfaction for you. Because I want to give it to you plain and honest. It's going to mean that I'm going to have to jump you in line in front of other people who maybe are in line for that load better to make sure that you get at least once a week or however often I can make it. So just know that they are planning the freight for the best driver for the load. But to try to cater to trying to keep you satisfied, I may have to do stuff like that. So, and I don't like to do it
I don't want
because
you to.
we are trying to be a team up there.
I,
And,
you know,
but I'm saying
I
that
just want to know
that
where I
might
stand,
be.
so the stuff
what
is
ends
not
up
out
happening.
here for me then.
So what I'm hearing from you is that it doesn't matter how much of your clock, if I make all the miles pile on there, you don't like to do multiples a day.
That is correct.
Okay.
You know,
So if you were to live load one day and deliver the next day, is that
if the
satisfactory?
miles are there, yeah.
Okay, but a
You
lot
know,
of
because
those
I'm
are gonna
putting in,
be,
a lot of times I'm putting in 12, 13, 14-hour days and only driving 450 miles.
which is the majority of what the OTR
And-
drivers are doing.
And that's ridiculous for an OTR driver. Okay,
Most of our FedEx lanes are that length of haul.
I'll say, that's fine for the people that want to run regional.
But we don't have regional anymore. We don't have that division anymore.
Well, what I'm saying is, if they want to run regional, let them do that kind of stuff. If they want to run local, let them do that stuff. You know, but for those of us that truly want to run OTR, you know, let us.
Well, like we was saying earlier, the definition of OTR has changed. And that's due to the change in the length of haul for the loads that we have. So those days of getting a lot of those longer hauls, it's not right now. And they're few and far between. Because I could probably count on one hand how many drivers have had those kinds of loads in the last week. And I have 33 drivers on my board. I just don't have it. So what I try to do is use their clock as best as I can and try to stack things up closer. If it means picking up 2 loads in a day, if at the end of the day you end up with 500, 600 miles for that day, then I'm going to try for it. But if I'm held because we have a specific time to deliver, things like that, I'm always working to try to get them earlier. How can I get this moving faster to get you more miles under your belt? But if you're saying you don't like to do that, I can adjust that.
No, don't get me wrong. I don't like it,
Mhm.
but I will do it.
Okay.
I've never rejected a load for something like that.
Right.
Okay. I may not like it, and there's been lots of times you haven't heard a word. I'll just sit there, shake my head no. The wife goes, "How was your day?" Same as always. You know, you never hear anything about it. How many other times have I also thanked you
Mhm.
for getting me a decent load?
Right. And I'm
Yeah,
so
yeah.
grateful when it happens because
And, you know,
finally, something.
yeah, you know, just, you know, I actually am saying it. Thank you. I appreciate it more than you know.
And I hope it comes over loud and clear that I appreciate that I don't have to babysit you. That you are given a load and you execute. That is something
You
that
know,
is so
it's-
golden on my board, you have no idea.
You know, there may be times, hey, we may have to bump these times. There's no way. You
You
know,
should do that right away. Get ahead
Yeah,
of
you
it,
know.
absolutely.
basically you're sending it. Here's beep going down the road. Boop, and blah, 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 blah. You know, trying to do some basic math.
Mhm.
I'll either know that it's going to work, I'll either know that it's not going to work, or it's going to be close. You know, just
Right.
Yep.
But I
Just by
appreciate
listening to
Macro
it.
25s. If you think you can do it faster than what I'm guessing,
Yeah, always update us.
Yeah.
send it.
And
It
that-
never hurts to ask. I will bug customer service to death trying to get new appointments. That's all I do all day.
yeah. I mean, if it's only going to be an hour. I mean, that's not going to make much difference.
Mhm.
You know?
Yeah, but
You know,
always,
but if I'm going to be a half a day, that's a different
100
story.
always
yeah,
let us
you
know, Trace.
You get what I'm saying.
100%.
No, you got to use.
Yeah, absolutely. And you do
A little
it. To echo
common sense.
Teresa's point, I mean, again, thank you for being on time and knowing what you're doing, because she does, have some drivers on her board that are handfuls, and probably half of her board wouldn't have rejected that FedEx load, and they just would have blindly accepted it and tried to run it. And then we'd have to cut them off and have a last minute recovery. So that, when you were the one to catch that right there tells me what I already knew, but that right there tells me you know what the hell you're doing out there. You know how to trip.
You know,
you know how to trip
now,
plan. So
well, I did have to honestly stop and look at it to make sure that I heard it right.
100%.
You know.
100%. But
You
that
know.
right there, I mean, it missed 2 or 3 stops in operations to where, you know, and
Right.
you knew it, you caught it. So again, that tells me you know what the heck you're doing out there. And I have a hard time believing, now it might not be always the miles you like, but I have a hard time believing why we can't work together to make sure
Yeah.
that you do send home that paycheck to your wife that satisfies you guys and that you are happy out there. And, you know,
Because if you're not happy, it's not worth it.
Yeah. And like I said, I've got to be happy. That's, you know, don't get me wrong, the money's important, but
yeah.
Right.
If you're not happy, you're more likely to make mistakes, right? You're more likely to overlook things. You know, you're more likely to be short. You know as well as anybody, being behind that wheel, you have to be in the right mental state, right?
yeah.
I mean, if you're not, pull over. You know, so whatever we can do to help with that, and I think we've talked about some of those things that, you know, we'll attempt to do. You know, we will try to figure out how to make this a better situation for all of us. I mean, to Trace's point, you know, though 700-800 plus mile loads, they're limited. They exist, but they're limited. But we do, in my opinion, want to try to get those on the drivers that we know can knock them out and, you know, really benefit from them. You can knock out a 700 mile load in 24 hours. We put a 700 mile load on, you know, lesser drivers. It could take
Give
them
or take a little bit.
36 hours. So,
Depends
I mean,
upon
you
depends
know,
upon where,
yeah. So
where and going through what. you know.
right. So, you know, we'll definitely, you know, can take that back and continue to work it. I know Trace already does and has, but we'll keep pushing because, like I said, we know what you're capable of. And we want to make sure that you're happy out there. But we just ask for the same, you know, treatment in return.
I'm gonna try.
So,
I'm gonna try my best.
okay.
If you're frustrated and want to vent, I don't mind. I spent 9 years up here at this front desk listening to drivers and commiserating because I've also been out there. I know what you guys go through. I don't mind that. It's just when it turns into a personal attack, then it gets a little unprofessional.
Yeah,
and I would never, ever, ever do that to a
I mean,
driver,
this,
so I just ask the same in
with
return.
me, it's personal and professional. You know,
Mhm.
it's combining the two. I'm trying to keep the personal side out, but you know,
Yeah.
but,
And Trace's point, that's what she needs, that's what she expects. To her point, she worked at the fuel desk here for 9 years. She's been a team, she's been a truck driver, you know. She gets it. But more than probably any other fleet leader up there that you would deal with, she gets what you go through. So she can understand that, I don't want to say complaining, but
Yeah.
that disappointment in certain things.
no, let me
out there.
ask you
So-
this: did you actually run over the road?
I was a
long
team
haul?
driver and an owner-op.
Okay.
So when there would be a room full of 20 drivers here who didn't want to go run some short hauls in town, my husband and I did it, even when we were owner-op. Because ultimately it comes down to, if we don't protect the company and we don't protect our
Yeah.
customers, they won't be there for us.
Yeah.
Which we
okay.
have
well,
seen.
I just, you know,
Yep.
wants a little bit of background because
Yeah, no,
Yep.
because
Yeah.
you get some drivers that do go and dispatch, and all they do is the short stuff,
Yeah.
you know. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, and that's good. And that, more than anything, is why Trace and I did also want to set up this meeting. I know you've been a part of my team for a while now, and I've never met you, and I don't believe you guys have met. So it's always good to at least, you know, chat and put, you
Yeah.
know, I mean, we see your face up on the screen, but you probably, other than, I guess, an org chart up
Mhm.
here, you probably haven't seen us. So, but I'm confident we can get on track. And like I said, if nothing else, then the freight environment right now is going in the direction we need it. It has been a couple of tough months for sure. It's been a grind. But the freight is picking up. We've seen it. So we'll hopefully be able to get you stacked.
yeah.
Anything else that you wanted to touch on? Anything?
No.
We got to get down to Winona, right?
Mm-hmm.
Winona?
Yeah.
Yep, I'm watching the clock. I'm like 9:30 is my deadline.
Yeah.
Got
Okay.
this-
So, like I said, I was just getting ready to send you a note. I've got him, or I'm gonna be late.
Right.
Okay, nope, that's good. We'll look, I mean, as soon as we get back, I'm sure Hannah's already on it, but we'll look to get you backed up out of that area tomorrow and
Right.
Okay.
keep you moving.
Goal today is to run everybody through Monday.
Yeah.
All right,
Good.
cool.
See
We'll
what
appreciate your
happens.
time, really
So,
do.
and I appreciate yours too.
Nice to see you.
Thanks, Steve. All right.